Hello ladies, I hope you are doing good today. So this time I did prepare everything and it's going to be several steps and I have everything ready ahead of time, so there's no waiting, no nothing. We can go straight to doing the whole thing. So the whole idea is, as I said previously, if you want to make a sphere covered in polymer clay, how would you go about? And I said that one of the solutions is to use a wooden sphere that you can buy at the craft stores, but those can get a little bit spendy. Hi Sharon, hi Adelaide, hi Darla, hi Ramona. So I decided to show you how to make a hollow polymer clay sphere using scrap clay that you don't have to leave anything inside. It involves several steps, but considering how pretty the whole thing will finally, the final thing will be, it is worth it. And it doesn't, it doesn't require a lot of work. It's just that it requires several steps. Hi Wendy, hi Kaur, hi Hirasuna, hi Cole. That's okay. Hi Mitzi. Mona. Okay, I'll try to remember. I cannot guarantee it though, okay? I might still miss your name a few times before I get it right. Alright, so and this is pretty much the final thing, and it's all ugly and nasty, but this is exactly what you need because we are going to cover it up with cane slices, but you can use this as well when it is if you want to make a 4 gemstone sphere. Oh, Black Onyx Cat, I can believe that. Hi Linda. My main thing is that I have my anxieties through the roof because as you all know, the Friday before last we had some severe storms around here, and there was a touchdown only about half a mile to a mile from my house. Even if they weren't big tornadoes, they were just brief touchdowns and they were F-zeros. Still, I mean, you don't know how big it's going to get and all that. And then this past Friday we were supposed to go to get a lot of nasties, but fortunately over Oklahoma the cap held, so we did not have tornadoes. But you all know what happened in Kansas and Nebraska. And now we have, starting this late afternoon until Thursday, including Thursday, we have severe weather in forecast. And both for Monday and Wednesday we are in the enhanced area, and usually if they say enhanced 3 days in advance, that means that by Wednesday we might grow to moderate risk. They weren't killed by storms. There were 3 students from Oklahoma University. They were students in weather studies, and they were coming back from storm chasing, and they got in a wreck because it was wet, it was rainy, and they hydroplaned, and they got hit by a trailer, unfortunately. And everybody's mourning them because they were very young and very promising young men. It was a very, very sad thing. I mean, they're chasing tornadoes and they died in a car accident. Anyway, how Sonia? Hi Sonia. Hi Kimi. So what do you need to make this? You will need a Christmas ornament, a glass one. Make sure that it is glass, that it is not the plastic kind. And if you go back and you look, when I had before Christmas, I started on showing how to cover Christmas ornaments, I showed you how to measure the half, and I still have the one where I measured, and this is helpful for when you cut. So your first thing will be to make 4 quarters, okay, that will then be put together. So what we need is scrap clay, and this is a little bit huge, so let me grab, because huge means hard to handle. I'm going to make it slightly smaller. So, hi Francis. So, grab your clay. Make sure that you have any folding lines will be on the inside towards the Christmas ornament, and pretty much place your Christmas ornament smack dab in the middle of the clay. Then, using 2 fingers, bring it down on 2 sides. Push it down on 2 sides. All right? Make sure that there's no air trapped. Then go on a 90 degrees and push it down again on 2 sides. So now we have like a cross, right? Make sure that it stays there. So press it well against the, it's a good thing if your scrap clay is very well conditioned. All right. Now the next thing, this is a matter of, remember I told you that sometimes you have to convince the clay to go into a certain shape, and you need to be a little bit patient, and it will go. Then now I'm going to go in between these and press down and not allow the ones on the side to lift. So press down, don't let the ones on the side lift up. Press down and make sure that it stays put pretty much. And now I'm going to go little by little, pressing down on each of these, and it's okay if you have small nicks like this, because these all will be covered. What you want the general spherical shape. The rest you can always cover when you put the sphere together. You can do a little bit of patching. So just keep going round and round, and with each pass get the clay more stuck to the ornament, and you kind of need to go on an even thing around. So it might be on one side it will look like it's longer, that's fine. See how here I have on this side it's not brought up enough, so I'm going to press more on this side, and it lifts, and you go back, and that is fine. This is how you shape the clay to the shape that you want it to be in. We'll just have to go several times with it until you get it all to about the middle of the Christmas ball. So there we go. I have it all towards the middle of the Christmas ball. I'm going to do a rough cut first of all the extra, and I'm making sure that I am past the middle. because I don't want to mess it up. Yeah, you're gonna have some ruffles, that's fine. They are going to go away. But some of these ruffles also don't allow your clay to get properly flat on the crystal ornament, on the glass ornament, Christmas ornament. Okay, so now I can go back and make sure that everything is in place. Now here obviously I have too much, so I'm going to go ahead and trim some more, but also be very careful not to go over the middle line. Hey, Witch Willow, how's it going? And I got it. And now what I'm going to do is to roll it gently on these edges to make sure that I have all the edge nicely stuck to the ornament. And then if you look through the ornament, you can see the measuring line. I'm trying to, I don't know if you can see it because it's kind of shiny. Right. Just a second, there are some noises, weird noises from the cat. Yeah, the twins were on that brink of getting from playing to fighting. Okay, so as I was saying, you can see, you should be able to see it's hard. Oh, there you go. See right here what my finger is? You can see on the inside the mark I made for the half. So I'm going to kind of eyeball it a little bit, but it is right here, and I'm going to do a cut and then come up to make sure that my cut is on the mark. And there's a couple millimeters more. As I said, this part might take a little bit longer until you get but you have to make sure that this is properly done. Otherwise, see, now I'm on the mark. Otherwise, your sphere will not be very spherical. Yes, the clay, you always work with the clay on the thickest setting. And then I'm going to go here where I can see another mark, and I'm going to do the same thing. So this one is a little bit lower, so I can cut a little bit more, and then go by like 1 millimeter. And remember, you have to use a permanent marker for this so that it will not be I'm almost there. But as I said, if you don't do this, your sphere will not be very spherical. So now I can actually see it right here. Let me get it more precise. And there we go. See my mark. And then I have another mark here, and I'm going to do the same thing. Seamus is going to get a spanking. I'm sorry. if you don't leave him alone, you're gonna get a spanking. Connor. 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 Come to mama. Come to mama, come and sit here so he will leave you alone. Shema's got the bully. Kind of hid under the bed, and Seamus keeps going to pester him. And there we go. And I have my mark. And then my fourth mark is here. So I am going to go with it until I can see it. And there we go. Now I have all my 4 marks, and they can be horrible. So see how you set your blade. You just make a cut here, and then again set your blade so that it will have both the lowest points of those dips and the same and the same. And now I can come and just with my blade cut in between these. And I have a perfectly good cut for half of the Christmas ball. And of course you can clean it up a little bit, but after you're doing this you can always do just a little bit of rubbing on a sandpaper to make a perfect, even if you don't really need a perfect thing here, but there we go. Now one last thing, because if you do just this, it's going to be a pain to remove it from the Christmas ball. Hi Gail. So your last thing will be to do a cut right in the middle, and I know that adds one extra step to you making the sphere, but it's going to be just fine. It's not that hard. So I'm going to go just like this, and this goes in the oven. Okay, so let me put this away. After it is baked, you get this. So once we have this, we have to first get it off the Christmas ornament. Yeah, see here, I was in a hurry and I didn't do a very good job at putting making sure that it's perfectly even, but it will be fine. As I said, don't fret it too much. There are some things that are very important when you make them, and some things that they are absolutely inconsequential in the long run. I mean, I know that some artists try to show you how perfect you have to do everything. That's not true. At the end, you have to be patient and perfect and because the end, when you put all the finishing touches, yes, those have to be perfect, but when you make a base, when you make stuff like that, that's fine. So now we have this. Your first thing is to put these together and then bake them, so that we can get something like this, that then gets put together and baked. So this will be very easy. So I'm going to get all my scrappity scrap here and get it through the machine again on the thickest setting. And I'm going to cut a relatively straight, about 1/3 of an inch, 8 millimeters to 1 centimeter thick strip. And again, you have to make sure that this is very well conditioned. If need be, you can get a small piece and then even mix some bacon bond in it. That would be fine. So first I'm going, make sure that you keep these, because it's going to be much harder if you aren't careful and you turn them around. Make sure you keep these as they were on the Christmas ornament. So now I'm going to go with some bacon bond here. Make sure I have my paper towel. And give it a little bit of basting, rubbing stuff. And the other thing that you kind of need to have is a ball stylus or the end of a paintbrush. And I'm going to try and place this about half in length, about halfway on this. So about half of it will be sticking out. And it slides, it's fine, it slides. And my advice, I'm going to do it in one go on here, but my advice is that after you do this first part, let it be for like 5 minutes, up to 10 minutes even, because remember with the bacon bond, when it's when you let it be a little bit on the raw clay, it already starts bonding, and you always want to do that, because if you go straight in the oven with something that you have bacon bonded raw clay over baked clay or vice versa, sometimes because of the shape or whatever, if that bacon bond is still very liquid and didn't have time to penetrate in the clay, it might slip. So when you take it out of the oven, it's not where it's supposed to be, and that is something that you don't want to happen, because if it's somewhere in the beginning, it's okay, but when you worked on something for a while and you get to that stage and then it's ruined because it slipped from place, it's not a good thing. All right, now I'm going to grab this, and first, it's not going to be pretty. Again, it's just a scaffold, if you want. Scaffolds aren't pretty. It's a scaffold for your final product. So first I'm dotting, and then I'm taking it more. I'm dotting between the dots, and then I can do this. And why I'm not doing this for it to be pretty, I'm doing this to extend the area where I have the raw clay that will be bonding the baked clay together. Right, so, and you can go with your finger if you want, you can go with your knuckle if you want, to make sure that it's well and nicely adhered here. And yes, there might be some bacon bond coming up from underneath, but that's fine. And you want to make sure that it's well attached here. Now I'm going to grab this other one. Again, I kept it with the same side up, and I'm trying to not lose. Yeah, here it's warm. I mean, not excessively warm. It's like a 70, sorry. When I start thinking in both metric and Celsius and imperial and Fahrenheit, I start messing up. Okay, now this time you want to be sure that you put bacon bond on the cut as well. It's very important. Very, very important. Okay, next, first place your thing with this up, and then I'm going to bring this on top of it and make sure that it comes all the way together. And then again, you can leave it for a few minutes to make sure that this part here got, and you can give it even more bacon bond. Yeah, I had a few days here sometime at the beginning of this past week that it was like I had to turn on the heat at night and then the AC in the afternoon if I wanted to open the windows at all, that is. Okay, so I'm not going to wait, I'm going to just go in directly. And as I said, it might be a little bit more difficult because there might be a little bit of sliding, but first dot, make sure that it didn't move, then dot again, kind of like between the first dots, and here at the ends usually I just use my finger after I make sure that this part is well together. As I said, let it be first for a few minutes, don't go directly at it as I did here, because of I don't want to keep you waiting on the live. And then again, I would let it wait a little bit before putting it in the oven, but this is how you make the half. Now of course the half has to be, the two halves have to be put together, right? So now we have two halves that and if you have any kind of issues, number one, when you put them together, never put them together like this, because that way you'll have a weak spot near a weak spot. Always put them in a crosswise pattern, so kind of one cut to be in the middle of a uninterrupted area. If you have, see, this is not very bad, but if you have more difference of a straight line here, what you can do is you get a sandpaper, and this one is 400, but I would suggest that you get like a 240. And sorry, it's noisy. And you get it a little bit straighter, but I would suggest a 240 or even a 120 if need be. So I'm going to treat these exactly the same way that I treated the half. Yeah, do you realize how much calculation that would mean? I'm not going to go into that. This is just fine. And this is just fine. Besides, then I would have a zigzag pattern to put together. Sorry, I'm not doing that. Straight line works just fine for me. I mean, yeah, it would. I don't even know if it would be better. I would have to try, but I don't feel like having to measure and calculate and measure and calculate. It's all a matter of geometry calculations. Alrighty, so same thing for this. Let me make sure that I have enough, that I don't need a longer. It's almost going to slightly extend it by gently pulling. That's enough. We are good. Okay, so same thing. I'm going to grab the bacon bond, and I know you'll say, but it's going to start moving all over the place in the oven. It might come apart. No, it won't. I'll show you what to do. The sky ain't gonna be falling today. Okay, so the same as I did for the halves, and start at the side, not on a joint. Because on the last one you won't be able to do the little dotting and stuff, right? You will be doing something else, and I will show you what. Okay, so now again, but remember, nobody is going to see this. This is just a reinforcement, if you want. When you look at reinforced concrete walls, you cannot see the rebar inside, right? Yeah. I had a weird thought. I have a lot of weird thoughts, generally speaking. Does anybody of you watch or watched Doctor Who? She said yes, she said yes, she said yes. Anyway, does anybody of you watched Mrs. Brown's Boys? Okay. She said yes, she said yes, she said yes. Try to imagine a crossover of Doctor Who and Mrs. Brown Boys. I think that would be the most hilarious show ever. And the best would be if it had either David Tennant or what's the name of the actor who played the next Doctor after David Tennant? One of them two to play the Doctor Who for that crossover. I think it would be the most hilarious thing ever. Alright, now I'm going to grab this, one of the things that was here, and I'm going to go with it through the pasta machine on like a medium thick, not medium thick, medium, so like on a 5. You haven't seen Mrs. Brown's Boys? You really have to. It's also a British show. You need to look on YouTube. Matt Smith, there you go. You need to go on YouTube because there's a lot of clips and even full episodes of Mrs. Brown's Boys on YouTube. Just make sure that you don't eat or drink whenever you're watching that, because you may choke and spillage might be ensuing. Okay, my next thing will be, oops, this is the other half, and what I'm going to do is first place some bacon bond here, and of course some bacon bond inside, because no matter what you still want that, as much of that strip of clay to get on it, right? Yes, because it's so freaking funny. I think that there are even little mixes like Mrs. Brown's Boys Best Moments. It's a British comedy. Mrs. Brown is a middle towards elderly housewife who's not really educated. She has some street smarts, but it's just, and she's played by a male actor. I don't think anyone would be able to play her like he does. Okay, now I'm putting this thinner one here. And first I'm kind of putting it at half until I figure out how much of it I need, because once I figure out, I'm going to cut it. And then go back and push it in a little bit so it would be fairly flush here. because of the fact that not being able to go inside to do this one, feather it well on the inside, I need to make sure that one of these will be gripping well both halves. The thing is that once you cover it up with, no matter if it is cane slices, if it is faux gemstone and everything, you'll have a layer that will hold it together. Until then it will be a little bit delicate. I mean, don't drop it, don't press on it too much, don't squeeze it. Once you have it covered and baked, that's no more worries. I did quite a bit of these before without a problem. I even did a faux Peter site, not as big, I did a smaller one. All right, and now one more thing that you need to do is, it takes about 3/2 of the paper towel if you have the ones with the, I had Finnegan who played with it. If you have the ones with half sheets, it takes about 3 sheets. If you have the ones with full sheets, it takes 1.5 sheets. And then start at one end, crumple it, and then kind of bring it over. And why is that? Because you want to create a layer of something, and you can fit it, just don't overfill it because it's going to push and might not hold your whole thing together very good. But you want something that is hygroscopic, so that if you have any kind of steam, it's going to get absorbed and not poke through your clay. And you need to put these, poke this a little bit inwards, just a little bit, making sure that you don't mess it up. Just a little bit inward, so that you can slip the other one properly on. And now you can start. Okay, I didn't put them, I didn't follow my own rule, but oh well. It's not going to be that big of a deal. So press it. I already have one done, so if this one pops, it's okay. I didn't start right. I think the barometer might be going down because I'm starting to feel it. Okay, at this point, see, you will get these little cracks. So before doing anything else, grab a little bit of mud clay, then grab some of the Bacon Bond, the Christmas ornaments, yes, they are in the baking blanks section. It might be at the very bottom. Hi, Kim. So just gently knead a little bit of Bacon Bond in the mud clay until it might get a little bit sticky, obviously, but that's exactly what you want. I know it's a very patchy work, but the result is just is going to be just fine. Okay, so now that I got this, and it's going to be a little bit sticky and it's going to be a little bit softer than normal, I'm going to kind of make some strings. Hold on, I went over I lost my taping. I told you there is a little bit of a delay between what I do here and when you see it there. I've set it that way so that people who have not a very good connection don't have to wait for buffering. It helps with the whole buffering thing. Okay, and now I'm going to go and kind of place this here. Wherever there's those little areas of with space. And I'm going to even come into these areas that I have from making the halves, just because I don't want to have a lot of retouching to do and sanding and all that kind of stuff when everything is said and done. Let me see, I need a little bit here as well, and a little bit on the other side. Here. And a little bit here. And now you can grab sculpting tool or even your X-Acto knife, and we are going to first remove Finnegan's hair. And yes, that was Finnegan's hair. It can go as long as 6 inches by the latest measurements. And just scrape it while slightly pushing. It's like frosting a cake, if you want. And the same everywhere. I think I'm going to need a new X-Acto knife soon. This one I think is like 20 years old. I have the bad habit of keeping stuff that works well past the expiration date. Okay, here I need a little bit more. Yeah, kinda. It has to be fairly soft, remember that. It is kneaded together with the bacon bond, so it has to be fairly soft. So that it would go in all these little spots and fill them up. As I said, like you are baking a cake. frosting a cake, not baking a cake. Duh. And then all the other small imperfections, they can be sanded once everything is baked. Yeah, I think a lot of us might have very old utensils. And I have 20, how old are they now? 23 years old almost. I have a set of a cooking set, cookware set, that's like 22 and a half years old. But it almost looks as old, as new as the day it was bought. Because think about this, so in 1999 that set was almost $400, and it was one of, remember Wolfgang Puck, the chef? It was one of his merchandise thingies, and it is exceptionally good, thick, not really, it doesn't hurt that much. It's exceptionally good thick steel, so it can be scrubbed and rubbed at the original shininess and cleanliness. Okay, then the last thing that I want to do, hold on, I need a little bit more here. The last thing that I want to do is to kind of even it out even more. And oops, I am going to do that by rubbing it. Yeah, and I also have a Miracle Blade set that's about the same age, and it's still going on strong. Okay, now I'm going to dirty my hand, and it goes alcohol, remember alcohol gently dissolves a little bit the clay. Yeah, mine was also a wedding gift. That I took at the divorce. Alrighty, so there we go. And with whatever is, we have a, it does have a little bit of lumps and bumps and stuff. That's fine. You use a low grit once it's baked. And one other thing, once it's baked, put an oven mitt on or something and put it straight under running cold water. Don't wait for it to cool off. Take it out of your oven with a towel or an oven mitt or something and put it straight under running cold water, after which you can, this is done with the 60 grit. I can go with the higher grit if I want to, but, and it's not completely finished straightening up, but I usually go with the 60 or with an 80, and then with 120. It doesn't have to be shiny, it's actually better if it's not very shiny when you stick the clay on it, whatever clay it is, if it is cane slices or if it is some other kind of stuff. But generally speaking, this is how you make a base sphere to cover it up. So this was the first part. For the second part, what I can tell you, have ready, hi Matnats, have ready one round cane. You will need one round cane, then that will be for the top and the bottom. Have ready at least one square cane, and then have ready and the square cane, you'll need several sizes depending how you want to do it. I mean, you can have sizes tiny like this, and then that would go near the top where it's round, or sizes like this that will go more in the middle. Also have prepared some no, and I said that I was going to show you how to make a little stand so it wouldn't start rolling around when it's baking. Simply grab a little bit of aluminum foil, and crimp roll it, so don't roll it straight. And then turn it on the side. Where's my, there it is. And you can either use another little piece of aluminum foil to put those ends together, or paper tape, and you have a good baking stand for your little sphere. It doesn't really matter. It's a way, honestly, for myself, is a way to get rid of canes that I only have bits and pieces of. As long as I can cut enough slices to go around, it's entirely up to you. You can create canes specially for this. You can do the same as I did the faux malachite egg. You can use 4 gemstone to cover it, and you can use any of the, I mean, I have so many tutorials on 4 gemstones. You can use 4 turquoise, you can use whatever your heart desires. But if you start with canes, this is what you have to remember. You can also use triangular canes. You can also use triangular canes because you can create bands. Anything that you can create bands with a triangular cane, you're gonna go with one slice like this, next slice like this, and then again one like this, one like this. You can alternate triangle slices from different triangular canes. You can alternate slices of triangular canes with triangular clay, just any color that you think might be good to. So the possibilities are endless. So that is it. And next Sunday we are going to cover it, and I was thinking of actually making 2. Next Sunday we're gonna do the canes, and then the Sunday after we are going to do a full turquoise. Okay, a full turquoise sphere. So that way you'll be able to see how to do cane sphere as well as a 4 gemstone sphere. And of course I'll show you how to do those stands for the spheres that are actually kind of like this, and we'll make some with one with faux wood and another one with faux metal. All right, thank you so much, and keep your fingers crossed for me till next Friday, because 4.5 days of bad weather. Thank you so much. Don't forget to thumbs up, and if you're new, make sure to subscribe, because if nothing else, I'm trying to do my Sunday live all the time. Also, don't forget the next Saturday is the first Saturday of the month, so we're gonna have a chat, and if I manage with all this bad weather, if I manage to get stuff put together for another D-stash, we're gonna do that. I'm actually preparing all kinds of stuff for the D-stash, like, and I'm going to have more stuff like this necklace, big necklace, that's what the Medusa, and all kinds of things. But keep your fingers crossed and your wishes for me that not a lot of stuff will happen here, because I told you my anxiety is through the roof. I've had sleeping issues because of that. Thank you so much, and hopefully see you next Sunday with no problems. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye.